My brother told me, "You're not invited to my engagement party." I said nothing, just smiled, then booked a flight to Hawaii. A week later, his celebration fell apart, and my phone was flooded with calls. My phone buzzed on my desk, its vibration cutting through the quiet hum of my Nashville office. I didn't think much of it until I saw the sender, Dylan, my brother, and the message, short and sharp as a slap. "You're not worthy of coming to my engagement party." For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I just stared at the screen, the words sinking in like ice beneath my skin. Not worthy. I'd spent 3 exhausting months planning that very event, my brother's big day, pouring every ounce of my skill, my money, my sleepless nights into making it perfect. The venue, the catering, the decorations, all on me, all for him. And now I was not worthy. I reread the text, my hands trembling. There wasn't even an explanation, just that cold, dismissive judgment. I wanted to call him, demand to know what I'd done wrong, but something in me froze. Instead, I placed my phone down, took a slow breath, and smiled. Not a happy smile, a knowing one. Something inside me was shifting, hardening. A week from now, while his precious party unraveled, I'd be sipping coconut water under a Hawaiian sun. But to understand how I got there, to understand the silence I chose, you have to know everything that came before. For 3 months, my life had revolved around Dylan's engagement party. I'd scoured Nashville for the perfect venue, a rooftop downtown with a skyline view that glittered like promise. I'd spent late nights sketching table settings, designing a rustic chic theme with fairy lights in mason jars, a nod to our Tennessee roots. I'd called in favors to secure Teresa Morgan's catering. She's a legend for Southern comfort food done elegantly. And I'd partnered with Brian Walsh, a decorator who could make any space feel like a dream. I did all of it out of love, out of family, and it was all for free. By day, I worked as a cultural event planner, juggling clients and vendors. By night, I was Dylan's unpaid project manager, making sure his special day would shine. Then came that message. I dialed Mom. "Did you know about Dylan's text?" I asked. My voice was calm, but every muscle in my body was tight. There was a pause. Then, in that patient, careful tone she used when she didn't want to get involved, she said, "Gina, it's his big day. He's under stress. Don't make a fuss." A familiar burn spread through my chest. She wasn't angry at him. She was minimizing me. Again. "Mom, I planned everything for him," I said. "I know, honey," she sighed. "But maybe just let it go. Let it go." That phrase haunted me. I hung up, shaking. The phone felt heavier than before, like it was full of every swallowed word I'd ever kept quiet. I called Dylan next. "Why, Dylan?" I asked. "What did I do?" His voice came through cold and bored. "It's not personal, Gina. Emma and her friends want a certain vibe. You don't fit it." A vibe. I'd built his dream event from scratch, and I didn't fit the vibe. "I'm your sister," I said. "I've been working my ass off for you." He exhaled like I was the one making things difficult. "Just drop it." "It's my call." That was it. Click. 3 months of labor, of love, erased in a single text and a phone call. That evening, Mom called again, sharper this time. "Gina, this isn't about you. You need to support your brother." "Support?" I laughed, bitter. "He doesn't even want me there." "You're being selfish," she said. "Selfish. For standing up for myself." I ended the call and sat in the quiet of my apartment, staring at the vendor contracts spread across my kitchen table. My signature was on every one. My credit card had covered deposits. I'd built this entire event, and now I wasn't even welcome to witness it. 3 days later, my father called. "Gina," he began, his voice full of authority, "we need to talk about the engagement gift." "I'm not buying one," I said, already tired. "It's a family contribution," he said. $3,000 toward the honeymoon. I laughed. "Dad, I'm not even invited." "Don't be childish," he said. "It's not about being invited, it's about family." That word again, family. He made it sound like I was betraying them by refusing to bankroll the very people who'd erased me. I hung up before I said something I'd regret. The next day, I opened Instagram. A post from my cousin Vanessa glowed at the top of my feed. Best bachelor party ever, it read, tagged at the Bluebird, a trendy Nashville bar. And there they were, Dylan, his fiancée Emma, their friends, all laughing under neon lights. I wasn't invited, not even an afterthought. I messaged Vanessa. Was I supposed to be there? She replied instantly. Oh, Gina, it was just a small thing. Didn't think you'd care. Didn't think I'd care. I shut my phone and sat back, letting the reality sink in. They weren't just excluding me, they were erasing me. A week before the engagement party, I met my best friend, Tracy Fisher, at a coffee shop near Music Row. The place buzzed with the sound of guitars and caffeine, but I barely heard it. They're treating me like I don't exist, I said, sliding my laptop across the table. And I'm still managing their entire event. Tracy sipped her latte, listening. When I finished, she leaned forward. You signed those contracts, right? The venue, catering, decorations? I nodded. Then you have the power, she said. You don't owe them anything. Let your brother deal with the chaos. Her words hit me like thunder. For months, I'd been desperate to prove my worth, to show I was indispensable. But what if I didn't have to prove anything? What if walking away was power too? I opened my email. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Do it, Tracy said softly. So I did. I sent polite, professional messages to every vendor. Carlos Ortiz, the venue manager. Teresa Morgan, the caterer. Brian Walsh, the decorator. I told them I was stepping away due to personal reasons and that my brother would take over. Carlos replied within minutes. Are you sure? You're the glue holding this together. I was sure. That night I booked a one-way flight to Oahu. Departure, the morning of the party. I called Tracy after. I'm out, I said. She laughed. Good for you, Gina. For the first time in months, I slept soundly. The morning of the engagement party, I sat in the Nashville airport with coffee in hand, waiting for my flight. My phone was silent. No apologies, no last-minute pleas, just silence. Meanwhile, across town, the rooftop venue was unraveling. Carlos called Dylan at dawn, his voice strained. Half your tables are missing centerpieces. The arches aren't here. The staff doesn't know who's in charge. Dylan panicked. Teresa's catering truck arrived late, and with the wrong menu. Cold sandwiches instead of barbecue sliders. No desserts. Guests started whispering. Brian's decorations didn't match the theme. The engraved name cards I'd designed were nowhere. The lighting was off, dim, uneven. The elegant rooftop glow I'd envisioned was now a cheap, patchy mess. And as the guests complained, Emma and Dylan began to fight. This is your fault, she hissed. You told me to uninvite her. He shot back. Their argument grew loud enough for everyone to hear. I was boarding my plane when my phone started buzzing. First Mom, then Dad, then Dylan. Gina, the party's falling apart. Please help. Gina, where are you? Gina, call us. Fix this. I looked at the screen, then at the runway outside the window. Number. I slipped the phone into my bag and turned it off. They'd made their choices. As the plane lifted, I pictured the chaos unfolding back in Nashville. Empty tables, wrong food, a dim rooftop full of angry guests. And at the center, my brother. Finally realizing what I'd been holding together all along. I didn't feel vengeance, just release. Hawaii greeted me with salt air and light. At my hotel near Waikiki Beach, I unpacked slowly, letting the ocean breeze wash over me. For the first time in forever, I wasn't chasing deadlines or approval. I was just here. The next morning, I walked barefoot on the sand. The world felt new, soft, kind. I joined a meditation class in a quiet valley temple, guided by a woman named Leilani, who told us, breathe through what you can't control. I thought of Dylan, of Mom, of Dad, of how I'd twisted myself for years to fit their version of family. Each breath loosened something inside me. That night, I started a journal. I wrote about the months I'd spent building their dream, the rejection, the silence that followed. And then I wrote about the waves, the temple, Leilani's words. I was done breaking myself to be loved. 3 days later, Tracy texted me a link. Check this out. It was an article she'd written for an online magazine. Event planner excluded from family's big day speaks out. I read every word with my heart pounding. She'd told my story, without names, but with truth. How I'd spent months crafting an engagement party only to be deemed not worthy. How I chose peace over pain. It spread fast. Thousands of comments poured in. People wrote their own stories of being undervalued, uninvited, unseen. You're an inspiration, Gina. Family doesn't mean servitude. You did the right thing. For the first time, I didn't feel alone. 2 weeks later, I returned to Nashville. My apartment was quiet, clean, peaceful. I unpacked slowly, breathing in the faint scent of ocean that clung to my clothes. Dozens of missed calls blinked on my screen. Mom, Dad, Dylan, Vanessa. But I didn't open a single one. Then Tracy called. "Gina," she said, "you won't believe this." She told me the engagement had been called off. The disastrous party had been the breaking point. The fight between Dylan and Emma, public, humiliating, had spread like wildfire among their friends. Emma walked out days later. I didn't feel vindicated. Just calm. Actions have consequences. Tracy asked if I'd talk to Dylan. I said no. "I'm done fixing things," I told her. She was quiet for a moment, then said softly, "I'm proud of you." The messages from my parents kept coming. Mom's tone had changed, gentler now, almost pleading. Dad's were full of excuses, attempts to talk things out. Vanessa left a voicemail, half apologizing, half blaming me. I deleted them all. This wasn't revenge. It was self-respect. I blocked their numbers one by one, and when I finished, I felt lighter. My apartment, once a workplace for other people's happiness, was mine again. Tracy's article had changed everything. New clients reached out. Weddings, corporate events, festivals. People who respected me for standing up for myself. My calendar filled with projects that were mine. One evening, as I closed another signed contract, I realized something profound. All this time, I'd been chasing validation from people who never intended to give it. Now, I had something better: self-respect. I wasn't the sister desperate to belong. I wasn't the daughter trying to please. I was Gina Marshall, event planner, survivor, woman who finally chose herself. Walking away from them wasn't easy. It hurt. It still does sometimes. But I'd learned that peace isn't about keeping everyone happy. It's about not betraying yourself to do it. And I would never, ever do that again.